This footage, showing a river crossing under fire, fits in well with the material we'll be looking at today. We're continuing with part 3 of the series of private footage of the 29th Infantry Division, the Falke Division, and cover the period from July 5th to the 9th of 1941. This includes the crossing of the Dnieper, which set up the strategically significant capture of Smolensk. We'll see an artillery battery in action, and then finally I'll introduce part of a German artillery training film. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, I suggest that you hit that red subscribe button right now. You won't be sorry. This is a situational map for the Eastern Front from July 5th of 1941. We are looking at the German units involved in the destroying or taking prisoner of most of the Soviet 3rd, 10th, and 13th Armies and part of the 4th Army that were trapped in a pocket just west of Minsk. In total, about 20 divisions, which lasted until July 9th. Here to the southeast, we can see the 29th Infantry Division and their approximate positioning when the beginning of the footage we are looking at today was taken. To put things into context with the other units we've been talking about, here we see the 20th Infantry Division moving east and the 20th Panzer Division, which had raced all the way to the Duna River. The 51st Nebelwerfer Regiment followed behind the 20th Panzer Division and played an important role in crossing of that river and taking of the city of Ulla. If you haven't seen the private footage associated with these units, you'll find links at the end of this presentation. Take a look, it's worth it. Following the Führer order, which had stated that none of the trapped Soviets should be allowed to escape the pocket, this elite motorized unit had done its duty in wearing down the enemy, but now was itching to have a more prominent role. There was talk among the men that the war would soon be over, and that they might miss out. Finally, on July 6th, the Falke Division was ordered to the east to become part of the main German attack on Smolensk, which would then be followed up with a decisive attack on Moscow. Among the troops, there was an air of excitement. Although most had only become more confident with the coming final victory, the reality was that certain difficulties were becoming more acute. The poor Russian roads were wearing heavily on the German vehicles, munitions and fuel were already running low, and German casualties had already surpassed what had been suffered during the operations in the West. General Oberst Guderian was convinced that time was on the Russian side. At all cost, the retreating elements of what was left of Marshal Timoshenkov's West Front needed to be beaten to the Dnieper River in order to stop them from reinforcing the troops positioned in the well-fortified Stalin Line. Had the Soviets arrived first, the German advance could have been held up for weeks. But the Germans arrived first. Here we're looking at July 11th and see the aftermath of the elimination of the Soviet pocket. The 29th was able to advance east along the Minsk-Smolensk-Moscow highway for much of the distance, which meant that the progress was relatively fast. Late on the evening of the 9th, the Falke Division arrived to its staging position across the river from the city of Kopys. Guderian had guessed correctly that choosing this location to force a crossing would be unexpected and therefore lightly defended by the Russians. On their arrival, there was a low-intensity artillery duel in progress. On July 11th at 5:15 in the morning, under the covering fire of artillery and Sturmgeschütze, the division, together with pioneer elements on Sturm and inflatable boats, successfully forced a crossing. Within 45 minutes, 6 attacking battalions had secured the east bank of the river. The second wave had been made up of the inflatable boats, as they were slower and more vulnerable. The pioneers got to work quickly, and by 4 p.m. the bridge had been constructed and ready for use. That was truly an impressive achievement. This is fantastic private footage of Generaloberst Heinz Guderian inspecting the construction of the bridge. He is widely credited with developing the offensive strategy of blitzkrieg and the use of concentrated armor. His theories were presented to tank crew recruits in the training film Panzer greifen an, or Tanks Attack. In a future video we'll come back to that material. The units we see crossing here rushed forwards and took part in the rapid taking of Smolensk. This original artillery training film has a runtime of 16 minutes and 44 seconds. Today we'll be looking at Chapter 1. Among the most dangerous accidents that can happen to an artillery crew is a barrel burst. Here's an example of how this can happen. This battery is firing for effect. The crew chief declares that an aider charge should be loaded. Not following protocol, the crewman loads charge 1 in the shell. And then loads specialty charges 7 and 8 on top. When interviewed after the accident, he explained that he believed that it was necessary to load charge 1 in order to correctly ignite charges 7 and 8. When fired, the barrel burst occurred. This is how it happened. If an overcharged shot fully ignites in the barrel, as happened in this case, then the barrel can explode. It's the most dangerous accident that can happen. It always destroys the weapon and seriously endangers the crew. This is what a barrel burst looks like.